Hello, welcome to this weekly show, my top tips every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. IST. This is 29th episode. I'm happy that I've been contributing to the resilience domain and community. The discussions today will revolve around basics of business continuity management. I'm calling it solving BCM objectives riddle. We might have seen objectives need to be written in our BCM journey. That will be a second discussion. Today, I'm talking about the famous RTOs, RPOs, and MBCOs. Recovery time objective, recovery point objective, and minimum business continuity objective. And this journey in last 2 decades or so, I have died 1,000 times. Here is what happened. Let's take an example. My example. If you cut my throat, I do not die immediately scientifically. I have about 25 seconds, someone told me. So I have picked up from there to build up on this story. If you cut my throat, I do not die immediately. It's an incident. It's a disaster for me. It can become a crisis. In 25 seconds, if there is no recovery, this situation becomes unacceptable to me. So 25 seconds is my MTPD or MAO, maximum acceptable outage, or maximum tolerable period of disruption, which means my recovery must start before this. And hence we have an equation RTO, recovery time objective, must, I'm saying must, be less than MAO or MTPD, which is 25 seconds in this case, which means someone should come and press stop bleeding in less than 25 seconds. So what is RTO? When you start my recovery, when I expect my recovery should start. So 0 to 24 is the range available. 24 is too bad. I'm almost dead. So even if you start recovery, the chances of survival are very, very, very low. So go for 0. In BCM terms, 0 RTO is very costly. I say, where do we have such good friends in world around us, with us all the time, that here you cut my throat and someone jumps and starts, recovery stops, bleeding. So 0 is too good, 24 is too bad. Roughly the half of it is good. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 seconds is my RTO, recovery time objective. So this is how explaining this concept. I have died 1,000 times in this journey of a resilience for myself as a trainer, consultant, speaker, author, assessor, auditor, etc. We must have a reasonable and practicable approach to business continuity. I recently started saying this: elongate your RTOs and be resilient. So I picked up a case that you have gone through a disaster and are currently busy managing this crisis. Your priority should be to contain the losses rather than the recovery and continuity. So give yourself time. The heavens will not fall apart. Be reasonable, be practicable. Take a little longer to start recovery and continuity. Then a fellow professional said RPO also. And I wouldn't mind, please add RTO, RPO, and MBCO to this. But let's have what do we need to elongate and what do we need to shorten. Keep in mind, please, I'll take only few seconds here in this discussion, but it's worth $1,000,000 if we understand this concept. Smaller the RTO, higher is the cost of implementation or cost of solution. Smaller the RPO, higher is the cost of solution or implementation. And third point, please keep in mind, higher the MBCO, higher is the cost of solution or implementation. Which means in an ideal situation, ideal solution, ideal implementation, RTO and RPO should be as large, as big as possible, because we are going to spend a little less on that. And the MBCO should be as small as possible. MBCO stands for Minimum Business Continuity Objective. RPO stands for Recovery Point Objective. RPO is linked with data, IT. RTO is the amount of time loss that is acceptable to me. In this case, it was about 12 seconds. RPO is the amount of data loss that is acceptable to me. MBCO is the level of service that I wish to provide to my customers during disasters, when I have gone through disaster. So I may become a hospital now. The person, the place where I am to be treated or my recovery has to happen. And the hospital goes through a disaster. Then the hospital says, during normal business, we were taking care of 100 damans, throat cut, and we could save 100 damans. But because we have gone through a disaster, our capability has reduced. Maybe number of rooms available, operation theaters available, doctors, nurses, support staff have reduced. So we are doing the basic minimum. Now we can take off 10 damans in a day when the throat has been slit, or 20 or 25. That is MBCO. So in an ideal situation, I'm repeating, and this concept is worth $1,000,000. Be reasonable and practicable in your BCM approach. Keep your RTOs and RPOs as long as big as possible, and your MBCOs as small as possible. There is no rule about these. These are all estimates, and these come with experience. Your RTOs, RPOs, and MBCOs, which are the requirements or specifications of business continuity, can be maybe different from anyone else in the world, even in the same industry segment. I would like to wind up today's discussions, my top tips, with two stories from two CEOs. One of them said, Daman, I am the boss. I know the business. The case was that the shortest RTO for that organization, it was an investment bank, came out to be 2 hours. This was based on all the training, refinements, reviews, and approvals. The RTOs had been signed by the department heads. Then it had to be presented to the CEO, and then he said, Daman, I am the boss. I know the business. Nothing in this organization needs to be recovered in 2 hours. They had great internal debates for a month or so. And then what was approved was 6 hours. And this may happen. What I said as a consultant, please record this as a known risk. The business wanted 2 hours. but the organization gave 6 hours. This is a gap, known risk, and we accept this. CEO, please sign it now. And this is possible. It can happen in any organization. Second CEO said, Daman, I would like to reduce my RTOs downwards. One increased from 2 hours to 6 hours. The second one, a Japanese company in India in trading business. The CEO was a Japanese person, went through implementation journey. They got certified to BCM at that time, BS 25999. And after 2 months of certification, the CEO called me. Daman, it seems the type of business we are in, our RTOs are too short. We can live for a little longer without recovery. And that's also is possible. Yes, go ahead, please. It needs to be reviewed once a year or whenever you wish, whenever you can. So it's good that you have reviewed. As CEO, you are playing a good part, very good part. And then they revised. While revising, especially when we have better arrangements and we want to have little lesser, may not be achievable. But at least we would know that we are doing better than what we would have, we should have done. Final words today in my top tips, I'm saying keep reviewing and keep up to date. This may be your BIA, this may be your RA, strategies, and or plans. Your BCMS, Business Continuity Management System, needs to be reviewed. Once in a year is good frequency. There is no rule, by the way, but once in a year is good frequency or whenever needed. That whenever needed, maybe after review, after audit, after test, after a disaster crisis, or if when major changes have happened to your business. If you have any questions about these discussions, RTOs, RPOs, MBCOs, the objectives in business continuity journey, or any questions about resilience, please feel free to write to me at any time. This is Daman Devsood logging off from My Top Tips, my weekly show every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. at IST time, Indian Standard Time. And I look forward to seeing you again coming Wednesday. Have a great day. Bye-bye.